It's Monday, August 11th, 2025, and I'm Dave Soul. 3 things to know today. OpenAI rolls out GPT-5 with bigger context windows, dynamic reasoning, and deep Microsoft and Apple integrations, but user backlash keeps GPT-4o alive. Intel's CEO faces calls to resign from President Trump over China ties, adding political risk to vendor stability. Enable posts 9% growth, shifts aggressively to annual contracts, and warns of surging SMB cyberattacks. And MSPs battle tool overload, with consolidation proving key to faster threat detection. This is the business of tech. Well, I have to lead off with a big story from late last week into the weekend. The release of GPT-5. OpenAI has released its new flagship model, GPT-5, to all ChatGPT users and developers. According to CEO Sam Altman, GPT-5 represents a significant advancement over previous models, comparing its capabilities to the transformative impact of the first iPhone with a retina display. This new model is designed to be smarter, faster, and more reliable, with Altman stating it feels like conversing with a PhD-level expert. The model uses a router to switch between standard and reasoning modes for complex queries, enhancing user experience and simplifying interactions. OpenAI has rigorously tested GPT-5 for over 5,000 hours, focusing on reducing inaccuracies and improving safety in responses. The update introduces 4 distinct text-based personalities: cynic, robot, listener, and nerd, allowing users to select how they want ChatGPT to respond. Additionally, improvements in vibe coding enhance the chatbot's ability to generate code from natural language prompts, while new customization options let users modify the interface's accent color. The advanced voice mode now adapts better to user instructions and integrates seamlessly with Gmail and Google Calendar for effortless scheduling and email management. These changes mark a significant evolution in how users interact with the technology. Microsoft has launched the new models and is integrating them into Copilot services, including Microsoft 365 Copilot, Azure AI Foundry, and GitHub Copilot. The GitHub Copilot service will benefit from GPT-5, providing developers with enhanced code writing capabilities. OpenAI has announced that its new GPT-5 AI model will be integrated into Apple's Intelligence ChatGPT feature, starting with iOS 26, iPadOS 26, and macOS Tahoe 26. Currently, Apple uses the GPT-4o model, but this update promises enhancements for features such as Siri queries and the Visual Intelligence tool. Apple has not confirmed whether GPT-5 will be available in upcoming developer or public beta releases, but the next major software updates are expected to launch this fall. And feedback is mixed, with developers noting improvements in areas such as coding and creative writing. However, issues remain, particularly regarding the model's ability to determine when to utilize more computational resources for complex tasks, which was a key selling point highlighted by Sam Altman. In tests, GPT-5 completed 45% of tasks set for software engineers, only marginally better than its predecessor, the O3 model, which achieved 44%. Despite some enhancements, many users feel that the advancements may not be as significant as previous updates, especially with multiple model releases from OpenAI in recent months. So, OpenAI reintroduced the GPT-4o model in ChatGPT just one day after it replaced it with ChatGPT-5, responding to user demand. CEO Sam Altman stated that paid users would have the option to continue using GPT-4o, which many users described as more personable and engaging compared to the newer model. Following the launch of GPT-5, numerous users expressed dissatisfaction, noting that the responses became shorter and less accurate. On platforms like Reddit, users described their emotional connections with GPT-4o, stating it felt like losing a friend or partner after the transition. Altman assured users that improvements would be made to GPT-5, promising increased transparency and better performance. According to an article by Simon Willison, GPT-5 is designed as a unified system that intelligently switches between various models depending on the complexity of the task, boasting an input limit of 272,000 tokens and an output limit of 128,000 tokens. The pricing for GPT-5 is highly competitive, set at $1.25 per million input tokens and $10 per million output tokens, which positions it favorably against other market offerings such as Claude and Gemini models. Notably, GPT-5 also features enhanced safety mechanism aimed at reducing the frequency of factual errors and improving the model's adherence to safety policy, thus making it a reliable choice for tasks in writing, coding, and health-related queries. And on latent space, they found that while GPT-5 excels in software engineering tasks, it performs worse in writing compared to its predecessor, GPT-4.5, highlighting that evolution in capabilities where the model shows remarkable tool usage and parallel processing, but falls short in certain creative tasks. Why do we care? GPT-5's here, and OpenAI says it's the retina display moment for AI. Bigger context window, smarter reasoning, cheaper tokens, and Microsoft and Apple are shoving it straight into their products. GPT-5's core differentiator is that dynamic routing between standard and reasoning modes, designed to apply extra compute power only when needed. This should, in theory, improve efficiency and cost control, notably if you're running AI-heavy workloads at scale. Pricing is also a big play. At $1.25 per million input tokens and $10 per million output, it's positioned aggressively against Claude and Gemini, which could make enterprise-level usage more financially viable. But here's the thing. Real-world tests, it's only a hair better than the old O3 model in coding, and people say it's less personable than GPT-4o. That's enough backlash that OpenAI had to bring 4o back. For us, that's the signal. Don't take the upgrade just because it's shiny. Test it. Decide if you need GPT-5's horsepower or if GPT-4o is better with your clients. Because in AI, new doesn't always mean better for your business. When chaos hits, will your system survive? Comet Backup's full image backups protect your entire system, files, apps, settings, and even the OS in one powerful automated backup. Comet is easy to deploy and bandwidth efficient. Full system backups for Windows, for Linux, for servers, for endpoints, all in one centralized platform. Whether you get hit with ransomware, hardware failure, or accidental deletion, Comet restores your system to physical, VM, or the cloud. Short on time? Restore individual files or folders to access critical data within moments. Try Comet Backup today. Reliable, secure, and made to scale. Visit cometbackup.com to protect what matters most. Get $100 free credit when you sign up with the promo code MSP Radio. Comet Backup. Backup fast. Restore easy. The other news, President Donald Trump has called for the immediate resignation of Lip-Bu Tan, the CEO of Intel Corporation, due to his reported connections with Chinese technology firms. Trump emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating, quote, "The CEO of Intel is highly conflicted and must resign immediately," end quote. This demand follows scrutiny from Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, who questioned whether Tan's ties to China could conflict with U.S. security regulations. Lip-Bu Tan, who was appointed as Intel CEO just 5 months ago, had previously invested in over 600 Chinese tech companies, some linked to the Chinese military. Despite these concerns, Intel has stated that both the company and Tan are committed to U.S. national security and their role within the defense ecosystem. Under Tan's leadership, Intel is facing significant challenges, including layoffs of approximately 24,000 employees and strategic project cuts in Europe. In a statement to employees, Tan emphasized his dedication to Intel, stating, quote, "The United States has been my home for more than 40 years," end quote, and he expressed gratitude for the opportunities the country has provided him. Tan's leadership comes at a challenging time for Intel, which has faced scrutiny over its ties to Chinese entities, particularly as Trump has threatened to impose tariffs on foreign-made semiconductors to boost U.S. manufacturing. Previously, Tan led Cadence Design Systems, which recently faced legal issues for selling technology to a Chinese university linked to the military. Tan has stated that he operates within high legal and ethical standards and is engaging with the administration to clarify the facts surrounding his past roles. Why do we care? This is a mess for Intel. 5 months into the job, CEO Tan is facing calls from the president, yes, the president, to resign over his ties to Chinese tech firms. Add in 24,000 layoffs and strategic cuts, and now the leadership team's dealing with politics instead of products. Even if Tan stays, this is a distraction at exactly the wrong time, when Intel needs every ounce of focus on building fabs and clawing back market share. For those of us in the channel, here's the takeaway. Vendor stability isn't just about balance sheets anymore. Political exposure is now a supply chain risk, and Intel just got a big red flag next to its name. And as the only major MSP company that is publicly traded, Enable's earnings calls are notable. Enable Incorporated has reported a 9% year-over-year increase in revenue for the second quarter of 2025, bringing total earnings to $131 million. This performance has led the company to raise its full-year guidance, projecting annual recurring revenue between $525 million and $530 million, reflecting a growth rate of 9 to 10%. The company also noted that it has expanded its customer base with over 2,540 clients now generating more than $50,000 each in annual recurring revenue, a 34% increase since 2022. Enable's strategic focus on a unified cyber resilience platform aims to meet the growing security needs of small and mid-sized businesses, positioning the company strongly with a $2.1 trillion IT spending market. For the third quarter of 2025, Enable expects total revenue between $127 and $128 million. Enable is transitioning its customers from month-to-month contracts to annual agreements, aiming to enhance profitability and stability this year. According to Enable's president and CEO, John Pagliuca, this shift has resulted in an increase from less than 10% to approximately 40% of revenue coming from long-term contracts, with expectations that most revenue will be derived from long-term commitments by year-end. Enable has released its first annual 2025 threat report, highlighting a staggering increase in cyber attacks targeting small to medium-sized businesses, with dedicated threats rising from approximately 48,000 in June 2024 to over 13.3 million by June of 2025. This report reveals a shift in perception among businesses, as many previously believed they were too small to be targeted by cybercriminals. However, attackers are increasingly favoring faster, low-effort attacks on these businesses, taking advantage of limited defenses for quicker payoffs. And a bit of context here, too. A recent study by Hemdahl and Future Safe reveals that managed service providers, or MSPs, are facing significant operational challenges due to tool overload. A striking 95% of organizations believe that a unified cloud security platform enhances data protection across their infrastructure, leading to faster threat detection and response times, up to 50% quicker than those using disparate solutions. The survey of 80 North American MSPs found that 89% struggle with tool integration, and over half report experiencing alert fatigue on a daily or weekly basis. The study highlights that 100% of MSPs managing over 1,000 clients report daily fatigue, with 20% using 7 to 10 security tools, nearly doubling their fatigue levels. Only 20% of respondents have consolidated their security solutions, which has led to improved outcomes for those who did. Why do we care? Well, disclosure, I am an Enable shareholder. Enable's doing what Wall Street loves: steady 9% growth, bigger customers, and locking them into annual deals. They've gone from under 10% to about 40% of revenue on long-term contracts in less than a year. Great for predictability, but here's the thing. Across the software world, especially with AI, pricing is moving the other way. Usage-based, outcome-based, more flexibility. If MSPs start wanting that, fixed annual contracts could feel like handcuffs. Enable's bet only works if their platform really solves tool overload and makes life easier. If not, partners locked in for a year may start counting the days until renewal. Support for the show comes from ScalePad. Ever feel like you're doing all the work, but no one sees it? That's the reality for a lot of MSPs. You're putting out fires, chasing spreadsheets, juggling client requests. But when it's time to show value, crickets. That's where ScalePad comes in. Trusted by over 10,000 MSPs, ScalePad solutions help you turn invisible effort into visible impact, pulling together the tools you already use, from reporting, quoting, compliance, and asset planning, into one easy platform. So instead of chasing details, you're leading smarter conversations. Because doing great work is one thing, getting credit for it, that's where the real business growth happens. ScalePad helps you show value, build client trust, and lead with confidence. Learn more at scalepad.com/Dave. Thanks for listening. Today is National Raspberry Bomb Day, National Bakewell Tart Day, and National Face Mask Day. That's a weird combination if you ask me. We're looking for feedback on a newsletter offering. Visit bit.ly/biztechnewsletter with a Z, link in the show notes and in description. It's 3 quick questions. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure you've subscribed or followed on your favorite platform. It's free and helps directly. Give us a review, too. If you want to support the show, visit patreon.com/MSPRadio, and you'll get access to content early. Or buy our Why Do We Care merch at businessof.tech. Have a question you want answered? We take listener questions, send them in, ideally as a voice memo or video to question@mspradio.com. I answer listener questions live on our Wednesday live show on YouTube and LinkedIn. If you've got a comment or a thought on a story, put it in the comments if you're on YouTube, or reach out on LinkedIn if you're listening to the podcast. And if you want to advertise on the show, visit mspradio.com/engage. Once again, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you again on our next episode.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.